Welcome to my new video series, Chasing Deals to Changing Lives. It's my journey from a wholesaler to a certified affordable housing provider. In this video, video 1, we're going to talk about transformation to a certified affordable housing provider. Now, wholesaling made me a lot of money. Certified affordable housing is changing my life. So I'm about to say something that might upset some wholesalers. The truth is, wholesaling works. That's what I shared. I stand by it. But wholesaling by itself won't make most people wealthy. In fact, it can become one of the most exhausting jobs you'll ever create for yourself. I know because I lived it. I've taught it. I built a business around it. I published hundreds of videos on wholesaling. And everything I've said about wholesaling is still true. You can get in, you can get out, and you can get paid. You can still find the inventory. You can still sell or solve seller problems. You can build a real business. But eventually I realized something that really changed everything. I wasn't building wealth. What I was doing was a J-O-B. And that's what led me from the encouragement of a friend to become a certified affordable housing provider. So let's go to the first chapter, my wholesaling journey. Now, before I go any further, let me be clear. This is not an anti-wholesaling video, even though you see a lot of that out there. Wholesaling gave me my start. It taught me how to market, taught me how to negotiate. It taught me how to identify opportunities, still doing that today. Wholesaling taught me to solve problems. It taught me how to talk to motivated sellers. It taught me, frankly, how to think creatively, how to build relationships. And for years, I proudly taught wholesaling because I genuinely believed it was one of the best entry points into real estate. And honestly, that hasn't changed. If someone wants to learn real estate and get in there for a cheaper situation, wholesaling can be a tremendous education. But eventually, I started noticing something. Every month, started at zero. No deal, no paycheck. No assignment, no income. And that realization, it began to bother me more and more, even as I was doing the videos in the last year. So let's go to chapter 2, the hidden cost that nobody talks about. See, most people only see the assignment checks. They don't see the endless follow-up, the marketing expenses, the seller appointments, the contracts that never close, the people that never show up if you're showing a house, the buyers that disappear, the deals that fell apart at the last minute. If that sounds like you, you're not alone. It's an emotional roller coaster. The uncertainty, the constant pressure to find the next deal, mentally exhausted. Because if I stopped hunting for deals, the income stopped. And I began asking myself a very difficult question. What happens if I stop? What happens if I want to slow down? What happens if I'm just tired of being lumped in with every Tom, Dick, and Harry wholesaler that people don't like? What happens if I want to retire? What happens if I want to leave something meaningful behind for my family? So let's go to chapter 3, the credibility problem. See, another challenge I encountered was perception. It didn't matter what I did. It's the way people looked at me because of the industry. Most people don't understand wholesaling. Some respect it. I ran into those kind of people. Many don't. I ran into a lot of those. Some immediately assume wholesalers are taking advantage of sellers. Ran into that all the time. Whether that's true, it isn't the point. The point is that perception matters. And I often found myself spending more time explaining wholesaling than explaining how I was helping people. As regulations and scrutiny increased, I found myself wanting something different. As you know, laws are changing in many, many states. And it wasn't because wholesaling didn't work, because I wanted a mission that people immediately understood. Because I wanted a business built around solutions, not explanations. I wanted greater credibility. I wanted to stand out from the crowd. So, there was a question that changed everything. For years, I simply asked, where's the next deal? And they weren't in California, they were in Kansas, so I had to travel for that. Where's the next seller? Where's the next opportunity? Then one day, my thinking changed. I started to ask a different question. I started to look at who needs help becoming a homeowner. And that single question changed the direction of my business, because I realized there was an enormous group of people who wanted home ownership but couldn't get there through traditional means. And we saw that as wholesaling. But how do you put those two together? And that discovery led me to become a certified affordable housing provider. So, discovering the real housing problem. As I learned more about the affordable housing and the certified affordable housing provider, I discovered something that surprised me. The biggest problem isn't finding houses, and that's true, they're all over the place. The biggest problem is helping families qualify for them. Millions of hard-working Americans pay rent every single month, show up for work, they support their families, they want stability, they want a place to call their own. Yet many, 80%, don't qualify for a traditional mortgage. Some are self-employed, some have credit challenges, some have gone through divorce, some have had medical setbacks, haven't we all? Some simply don't fit inside a lender's underwriting box. 80% of Americans struggle with that. In many cases, they can afford a monthly payment, but what they can't do is satisfy every requirement of a traditional mortgage. You see, that was eye-opening to me, because I realized that home ownership wasn't just a real estate problem. It was a financing problem. And there were millions of families stuck in the middle. And that really wasn't helping them being the wholesaler at all. So, why does certified affordable housing providers exist? That's chapter 6. Well, this is where my mission started to change. Started to go from a job to purpose. I had the privilege of meeting and now knowing Lou Brown personally. I've also had the privilege of learning from Cynthia Shriver, who's been an outstanding coach and a mentor, $1 million earner many times over. What impressed me was simply creative real estate. What impressed me was the purpose behind it. What impressed me was the results. The certified affordable housing provider model was developed because so many families are capable of home ownership, but don't qualify for traditional financing. Think about that. A family can be responsible. A family can have income. A family can make monthly payments. A family can desperately want home ownership and still hear the word no. I hear it all the time when we're passing out flyers. They don't think they can even get close to it. Certified affordable housing providers exist to help bridge the gap, to help create a pathway to ownership, to help families move toward home ownership instead of being trapped in that endless cycle of renting. Now that mission resonated with me big time, because I wasn't just looking for another strategy. I was looking for a better way to serve people. And my mentor, who has over 1,000 deals, said, you better do it. So I really took a look at it after months of ignoring it, really. So what's the difference between income and wealth? That was my breakthrough moment. Wholesaling creates income, but it's a job. There's certainly nothing wrong with income. But income and wealth are not the same thing. Income pays the bills. Wealth, it creates options. Income helps this month, and it has for all of us, no question about it. Wealth can help future generations. As I become more involved in affordable housing, I started seeing opportunities differently. Not just assignment fees, but multiple profit centers. Cash flow. I saw interest income, notes, equity growth, appreciation, long-term assets, portfolio development, profit levers in working with homeowners. For the first time, I could see a path where helping families and building wealth work together. I stopped thinking about getting paid once, and that was one of the big problems. I started thinking about creating value over time. So the buyer first shift is our chapter 8. One of the biggest mindset shifts was learning to start with buyers. Most investors, they start with a property. They go look for the buyer. We do the opposite now. It's got to retrain your thinking. We start with the people. We learn their goals. We understand their challenges. We're doing that right now with 3 different people. We identify their obstacles. We go looking for solutions based on what they want. They tell us what they want and we go after it. The focus shifts from changing or chasing inventory to serving families. And honestly, when you do that, everything changes because you're no longer asking, where's my next deal coming from? You're asking, who can I help next? So in closing, wholesale made me money. And I'm grateful for everything it taught me. I'm grateful for Todd Dodson. Get in, get out, get paid. Very helpful. But becoming a certified housing provider changed how I think about business, which is what I was always looking about. Changed how I look about wealth and impact. Wholesaling taught me to earn income. Certified affordable housing providers taught me how to build wealth. Wholesaling helped me make a living. Affordable housing showed me how to build a legacy. Today, my mission is to help families achieve home ownership while building opportunities that create long-term values for generations. I'm John Sarver, certified affordable housing provider, founder along with Justin Ward of Liberty Life Home Solutions. If you'd like to learn more about affordable housing solutions and alternative paths to home ownership, visit libertylifehomesolutions.com. And in the next video, I'll show you why the buyer first approach completely changed how I look at real estate investment. We'll see you soon.